big bang in India's startup universe? It probably began right here in Bangaluru's Koramangala neighborhood. Bangalore is India's Silicon Valley and drives a ton of the country's technological growth. We're here in Bangalore to see what this startup city is all about. Now this is one simmering hot pot of competition across the country. And on Unicorn, we've shown you several food startups that are trying to conquer the space. Some promise that they have an exceptional delivery service, some say they have delicious food, and some are just scaling up, trying to gain market share. Well, we're here in Bangalore, and we are going to meet the founder of one of India's leading food tech startups. This startup is gaining ground and gobbling up competition with its delicacies and offerings. This is the story of FreshMenu. But hang on, we've heard the term game-changing food startup before. So does FreshMenu have the competitive edge over everyone else? Let's find out.
This IIM Ahmedabad alumna has plenty of experience working with startups which have scaled up into billion-dollar ventures or unicorns. This is Rashmi Daga, who has previously worked with cab aggregator Ola and founded FreshMenu in 2014. She's an experienced soul when it comes to spearheading and managing several startups and diverse businesses. So in a bid to rescue foodies from mundane meals, she started FreshMenu to whip up interesting food options in the kitchens.
FreshMenu brings you a convenient choice to explore taste flavors from around the globe in a fashion that works for you. Wherever you are, whenever you are hungry, whenever you are excited to try something, we bring it to your doorstep. Good food, on-demand delivery, neatly packaged. This is great food for a contemporary Indian.
So what does FreshMenu have to offer the avid foodie? Well, the venture claims to make meals with fresh vegetables, meat, unique sauces and exotic spices from across the world to ensure high quality. In a segment cluttered with big businesses offering junk food, a coterie of startups have permeated the food segment and begun promoting a clean eating movement with meals that are sumptuous, drool-worthy, yet slightly more expensive, promising delivery to the doorstep. FreshMenu claims to have culinary experts, or as the venture calls it, food ninjas, who are trained chefs giving a more exciting spin to the otherwise mundane ghar ka khana. So if you want to use FreshMenu, just key in your city details in the website or app and browse the daily changing menu. Started in Bangalore, the company has expanded its services to Mumbai and Delhi NCR, and from January 2015 till July 2016, FreshMenu has grown from 1 kitchen to 26. Unlike other delivery apps or aggregators, FreshMenu's team of about 500 operates its own kitchens and cooks. But Rashmi, we want to hear it from you. What is FreshMenu's competitive edge?
We are the ones who've put our head down, constantly thought of what would be exciting for users, bring those dishes, innovate them and make them palatable to all of us. So I think innovation is a huge pillar for FreshMenu, which is a very, very big defense. Second biggest defense in this business is actually execution. Food is a very, very tough business, and every day making sure every box is right, every ingredient is right, every customer is happy with what we offer to them. So it's all dependent on execution, and those two are big defense mechanisms.
All right, Rashmi, so innovation and execution seems to be your forte. But your startup is competing in a segment which sees a new challenge every day. A new venture is born in the food tech segment every other week after all. So here is what we want to know from you on Unicorn. Food tech is an overcrowded segment, especially with the focus on healthy meals. What is FreshMenu's USP? Is food technology a bubble which will burst one day? Will FreshMenu be the last startup standing in that segment? How does FreshMenu plan to scale up beyond a food delivery platform?
Food tech can be a very overcrowded space. What makes FreshMenu different?
Firstly, I think this is not overcrowded market. It always was an overcrowded market. food in India is available in every street, every corner. For example, when we started FreshMenu, we saw 8,000 restaurants listed on Zomato. So we knew there were so many people available from where people could order, while all of us were still struggling on, what to order and what's new to eat. So I don't think this is about food tech overcrowded or something like that. For us, it's about building a great food company.
Now, I know that you say that there are tons of restaurants and food tech isn't much different, but there are really only so many places where you can go to get healthy food. Do you think that food tech is a bubble that's going to burst?
We are here to stay for long term. FreshMenu would make sure we listen to consumers, we do dishes that work for them, that become a part of their life. Over the next few years, we would want to reach a point where, consumers could think of shutting down their kitchens. Who wants to do grocery, cleaning, cooking, dishes, and thinking what to do? Let FreshMenu do all the thinking and cooking and delivery.
But in terms of scaling, do you guys have a plan for growing more in terms of cities or, hiring, adding more kitchens?
So FreshMenu is looking at scale in multiple options. One is in each of the markets that we are already present in. How do we get to address more of that market, which means getting more opportunities and more occasions to serve a customer, while we also expand geographically. Today we are present in Bangalore predominantly and some locations in Delhi and Mumbai, which is what we are scaling up right now. We look at more cities like Chennai, Pune, Hyderabad, Kolkata in the coming few months, and we would go to them as soon as we are prepared to start operations.
FreshMenu really seems to work, and I have to say that the 45-minute guarantee is one of the most exciting parts. Food tech is an overcrowded space, and there's really no room for error. So the challenge for FreshMenu is going to be making things on time, making the flavors consistent, making customers stay satisfied throughout. Let's see how they do. Anyway, that's what I think. Let's hear what the mentors have to say.
Hailing from Harvard Business School, this is Ravi Gururaj, a mentor to many flourishing startups in the country. Ravi is the chairman of the NASSCOM Product Council as well as a founder of a startup called QuickPod that is building parcel delivery lockers. Meet Neha Singh, co-founder of Traction, a startup intelligence and market research platform. An alumnus of IIT Bombay and Stanford School of Business, Neha's vast knowledge on startups has helped her connect several venture capitalists to upcoming startups.
I think FreshMenu is poised to be the front runner of those that survive the meltdown, right, in food tech and come out ahead. I'd be betting on them. Try and go deep in the cities they're in already. Don't try and enlarge the footprint too early because then burn will go up dramatically. I think the market is there to be taken. I think the switching cost for consumers in food is very low. It's very important to get the operational stuff right, to get the machine right first before you try to expand, right?
So it's really interesting to see internet-first restaurant model becoming, scaling over time, which a lot of people had bet earlier. But because of a lot of operational issues, not a lot of startups could execute it, and FreshMenu remains like the one good execution in this pack and also is well funded.
Do you know what the trend was last year among young, talented, Ivy League educated multinationals? They were leaving their cushy jobs for startups. But the reality now is different. Big ventures like Ask Me Bazaar shut shop, and massive layoffs came as a rude shock to many. Or should I say, a rude awakening. But in the midst of so many layoffs, can we really get a clear picture of Startup India? Let's check in and find out on the state of the startup.
Remember Ask Me Bazaar? The big venture that was an inspiration to most young budding startups because of its scale, scope and reach? Well, in the end of August this year, the e-commerce firm shut down and reportedly laid off some 4,000 employees who hadn't been paid salaries for 2 months. News spread like wildfire and speculations were rife. What does this mean for ventures that scale up too fast?
If you look at history, you analyze data, you will see that out of 100 people who start up, only a handful survive. So that's going to happen. But what we typically see is a lot of these people folding up fairly early in the process. Yes, we will see a lot of startups folding up because that's the nature of the game, right? And you can't stop that.
The reality is startups will fail, and when they fail, people will lose their jobs. That is a given, but I think there's a graceful way to do it often, and I hope founders will have the dignity and the consideration to their teammates to ensure ensure that they have a reasonably smooth landing.
Every startup should think that how to be frugal in their expenses and how to manage the overall operations in a manner so that they do not overdo something and they finally have to pay for it in the other way around.
So naturally we wonder, has the glory and triumph in the startup world subsided? Are big ventures shutting down and laying the ground for newer ones? Will the startup world kneel down and roll over? Is the Ask Me story a cautionary tale for ventures which scale up too fast?
In the recent past, we've seen some exceptions. As an example, Ask Me, was in the news for all the wrong reasons. And they were a fairly large player in the market. And all of a sudden, the promoter or the investors decided to pull the plug, stop funding, and, the 4,000 employees were out on the roads, right? So yeah, that's a huge damage in itself, huge damage to the startup reputation as well. But these kind of instances are, fairly rare. We will not find a lot of people scaling up to a few thousand people and then just folding up.